I'm not fighting no more. Kelly, let me do my job. I just told you I didn't want to do no interviews, and you said you are going to do interviews. Now you told me to do interviews. Now you're trying to take me away from them. No. Let me show Dante's Boxing Nation some love.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? I'll tell you right now, there is nothing better than having the guy that you're actually talking about confirm damn near everything that you've said. And that's the case in this situation right here. You guys may recall when I told you a couple videos ago that Lomachenko's kryptonite is height and reach. He has a very difficult time dealing with reach. And I've also told you guys on many occasions, that's why he wanted to fight Gervonta Tank Davis and not Devin Haney, because he does really good against much shorter fighters like Gary Russell, Guillermo Rigondeaux. And he would most likely do really good. Not saying he would beat Gervonta, but he would do better in the fight. However it would end, he would do better in the fight. He would be more comfortable in the fight against a shorter opponent like Gervonta Tank Davis. I told you guys that Lopez, he did a great job of controlling distance, controlling range, which is what made the fight so difficult for Vasyl Lomachenko. You remember I said to you guys, if Loma had problems with the reach of Teofimo Lopez, imagine the problems he's going to have with the reach of Devin Haney, because Devin Haney has an even longer reach than Teofimo. Teo has a 68-inch reach, and Devin, he has a 71-inch reach. So now that I gave you the backstory, I can go ahead and tell you what Vasyl Lomachenko said to once again confirm what I already suspected. He just admitted that it wasn't the shoulder that caused him problems in this fight. It wasn't the shoulder that made the fight difficult. He said it was Teofimo's reach and height that made the fight difficult. Matter of fact, let me quote exactly what he said. Right now, it's hard for me to comment on the fight. I understand everyone is frustrated, but I want to watch the fight first before commenting. Because of his size and his reach, it was not easy to get to him. I just want to say to all of the fans, I am sorry if I let you guys down. I want to thank all of my team, and I want to let them know we will move forward, end quote. See, guys, this is a major problem for Vasyl Lomachenko, because he's fighting at 135. He's already short. Now you're going to be fighting a lot of guys that are going to have height and reach. But see, it's not just the height and reach. I mean, the majority of it is the height and reach, but you have to know how to use the height and reach. Just like you could have all the power in the world, but you have to know how to use it. And the problem for Loma is there's a lot of tall fighters with a great reach that knows how to use that height and reach if they go up against someone like Vasyl Lomachenko. Especially the blueprint to beat Loma is already out there now. Loma's biggest problem is if he can't guarantee he can get some punches off without getting caught with something, he would rather not punch at all. Even if it takes him all night to land a punch, he'll wait until it's extremely safe to land that punch, or at least wait until he knows that he's completely down on the scorecards and he has to win every single round from this point on. But after having 400 amateur fights, letting your hands go shouldn't only be based off of desperation of winning the fight. That should be a basic instinct. But then again, that's the reason why the pros and the amateurs are two totally different sports. I mean, how else do you explain Lomachenko having an amateur record of what, 400 wins and 1 loss, and having a pro career of 14 wins and 2 defeats already? And trust me, if he keeps fighting and going up against the best, he's probably going to end up retiring with about 4 or 5 defeats. Unless he plays it super safe from this point on and goes the Gennady Golovkin route, or he just moves all the way down to about 126, where the competition is not as dangerous, or at least on paper not as dangerous. I don't know what he's going to do. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually, once again, goes after Gervonta Tank Davis because of the height. I wouldn't be surprised if he does that. But once again, it was interesting what Lomachenko said in that interview. You notice he never even mentioned a shoulder injury. Said nothing about a shoulder injury. The only thing he talked about really was the height and the reach problem. So if that's the only thing he talked about, that's clearly letting you know that he's telling you the truth. That's why he lost the fight. And the last time he had a difficult opponent where he actually said right after the fight, that was the most difficult fight of my career. It was against another tall fighter with a long reach, and that was Luke Campbell. And Luke is not some type of special effects fighter. He's straight up and down, right? But yet still gave Lomachenko his most difficult fight by his own admission. Now, Loma, he did also say in that piece, he said, hopefully, the kid Lopez gives him a rematch. But that's one, like I told you, that's most likely not going to happen. What Lomachenko is going to have to do is he's going to have to reestablish himself. He's going to have to make himself relevant to where it's worth Tio Lopez taking the rematch. And that means Loma would have to get in there with the likes of a Gervonta Tank Davis, a Devin Haney, since it looks now like Tio is not going to fight Devin Haney next, which I'll talk more about that in another video. But that would be wise for Lomachenko to go after Devin if Tio is not going to fight him next. That'd be a great way for him to, possibly get a shot at him. But he better hurry up because Tio is talking about moving up to 40 and he's talking about doing it soon. So I'm gonna wrap this video up, but going back to Lomachenko's shoulder injury. Now, he did get surgery. At least that's the report. If they say he got surgery, I believe it. My point simply is, surgery or no surgery, it had nothing to do with Lomachenko losing the fight. Andre Ward, he fought with an injured shoulder for 15 years. And then after it got worse, he finally went ahead and got surgery. But he did what people usually do when it's so bad that you're going to be at a disadvantage in a fight. He pulled out of a fight. He was supposed to fight against Kelly Pavlik. He had to pull out of the fight because the shoulder got worse. But that was after 15 years. So that means Lomachenko, he could have went to the doctor and got surgery done whenever he wanted to. It didn't have to be this fight. He could have waited 2 years from now and got the surgery and just kept fighting and not even mention it to the public. But once again, this is the reason why Lomachenko, he only mentioned the height and reach as a problem in the fight. This would have been... So now we have Lomachenko saying right before the fight, he has no injuries. He said he's injury-free. He said, the fights before, I was never 100%. I was injured in a lot of those fights. He said, this is the first time I'm going to be 100% and you guys are going to see the best of me. That's what he said before the fight. And after the fight, he only talked about Tio's reach and his height, never even mentioning a shoulder injury. So I'm going to tell you where Tio, he really screwed up. He really screwed up by allowing his confidence and arrogance to blind his judgment and not sign a rematch clause. So Loma made two really bad decisions in his career so far. After he lost to Salido, it was Loma that turned down the rematch. And now he loses again, and he's not going to get a rematch that he actually wants this time, but he won't get it because he didn't put a rematch clause in the contract. We'll see where Loma goes from here. It'll be really interesting to see who he decides to fight. I'm on to the next one, y'all. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. Basically, you will end up with a haircut shape up or an edge up. What they do is they tattoo small dots that look like hair follicles in the areas where you have lost your hair and then blend it with your existing hair. You can even choose what type of hairline you want, hard shape up or soft and natural finish. And to maintain it, all you gotta do is shave your hair every few days, which is something you already were probably doing anyway. So if you wanna get this hookup for my brothers out there in the UK and Europe, make sure you check out the Scalp This on Instagram. And for my brothers out there in the States, make sure you go ahead and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. And when you go on their pages, you can see for yourself what these guys look like before. I mean, these guys are literally hair magicians. I've never seen anything like this before, but all I can tell you guys is this is a serious game changer for us men. So make sure you get in contact with Scalptus in Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. You know, I always say on this channel, pay-per-view fights should actually be free. And now the day has come where I'm about to hook you up with an app where you can watch all your pay-per-view events, boxing, UFC, etc. for free. I want to introduce Block TV, the best internet streaming television app out there. They provide over 3,600 channels, including HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, and Stars. They have a massive video on demand library with over 40,000 of the new release movies and the latest TV series. And it also includes DVR. So you're getting all of this for $34.99 a month. And once again, that includes free pay-per-view. So this one right here is a no-brainer, guys, because back in Las Vegas, I was paying damn near $200 a month for my cable. Those days are long gone now. So to get the app, make sure you guys go over to getblocktv.com and put in my promo code and get 30% off your first month. You also get a free month for every friend you refer. The promo code is DBNation.